Hey friends, welcome back to this channel, and today this is the fourth video on endocrine system. We have already discussed about the crine system, we have discussed about the autocrine and paracrine systems, covered the priming effect, what is priming effect and what is desensitization and down regulation of hormone. The hormone receptor complex just get detached from each other while there is desensitization and down regulation process. We have all covered. So the links of the previous videos are in the description box. Please go and check it out, they are really important and interesting. So today in this video we are discussing about hormones. So before we discuss about the hormonal glands, I thought that I should discuss something about hormones. This is the introductory parts of hormones. Okay, so first we'll discuss about prohormones and prehormones. Now pro and pre, you can easily say from this pro and pre that these are not hormones, but these are the preliminary phase of hormones. We can say that these are the inactive phases or inactive hormones, and then when these pre and pro hormones get converted into hormone, that means they get converted into the active state. So both pro and pre states are the inactive states of hormone, precursor states of hormone. Now what is the difference between pre and pro? Let's see. So let's say about pro-insulin. Pro-insulin means this is not insulin but the precursor of insulin, just the previous stage of the active functional insulin. So this is the precursor of hormone, that is pro-insulin, and this is pro-insulin. And what is before this pro-insulin is the prohormones, or we can say pre-insulin. Okay, so the thing is, first comes pre-hormones, then comes prohormones, and then comes hormones. Okay, so first comes pre-insulin, then comes pro-insulin, and then comes active functional insulin. Okay, so let's have a look. So this is about pre-hormones, like pre-pro-insulin. As I have mentioned that pro-insulin and the precursor of pro-insulin is pre-pro-insulin. Okay, so first we have pre-hormones, then we have pro-hormones, and then finally we get the active functional hormones. Molecules secreted by the endocrine gland and considered to be hormone of that gland is actually inactive in the target cells. So when these hormones are being secreted from the endocrine glands and when they get attached to the receptors on the complementary target cells or target sites, they are actually inactive. Now those target cells must modify the chemical structure of these secreted hormones so that it become active. So let's say we have let's say pre-pro-insulin, then we have pro-insulin, and then we have insulin. But that insulin will not go and bind with the target site and will start its activity. Before starting its activity, the target cell should modify something in that hormone so that it become very active. It is modified and active. So that is the case. Now let's take an example of thyroxine, T4 and T3, right? We all know that there are two forms of thyroxine. We'll discuss in future, obviously, when we'll discuss about the thyroid gland, we'll discuss about T4 and T3. So thyroxine, the initial stage is T4. So T4 hormone is released. Okay, and that T4 should be changed into T3 within the target cell in order to affect the metabolism of the cell. So the thyroid hormone is released as T4, but then in the target cell that T4 is converted into T3, and that T3 is actually the active form which can have its effect on metabolism of the cell. Hope this is clear. The next is about testosterone, which is secreted by the testes, and vitamin D3, which is secreted by the skin. They are converted into more active molecules within their target cell. Now this conversion of testosterone into other different derivatives, we'll discuss it in future when we'll discuss about the reproductive system. Okay, which is the next system I'm going to start just after this endocrine system. So For now, just remember that both testosterone and vitamin D3, they are secreted in a specific form, and they are modified or converted into more active molecules or more active form in their target cells. So that is the concept of pre-hormone, pro-hormone and hormone. Always remember, pre-hormones comes first, second is pro-hormone, and then comes hormone. Hope that is clear to you. Alright, so this is one part, that is pre-hormone and pro-hormone. The next part we are going to discuss is very interesting, that is common aspects of neural and endocrine regulation. So what are the common aspect? So normally we see that neuron is our brain part. We see a neural thing as our brain and spinal cord and everything, our neurons and so. And endocrine system is consisted of endocrine glands. So what are the common aspects? See, the first point is the target cells must have specific receptor proteins that combine with the regulatory molecule. For endocrine regulation, I have already mentioned that there are in our previous video where we discussed about the priming effect, we have discussed that there are receptors on specific target cells, and the hormones come and bind with this target cell. And now from the pre and pro hormones, we now know that target cells, there are some changes that are mediated by the target cells. There are some changes in the hormonal structure, hormonal molecular structure of those hormones that are changed by the target cells. Okay, so target cells must have specific receptors. Similarly, for neural aspect, if we see the neural aspect, now for neurons there are neurotransmitters, right? And this neurotransmitter, they go and bind to their target cell at specific receptors. So in both of this neural system and endocrine system, for both of them, I mean, the target cell must contain specific receptors. So they should be compatible for acting or compatible for interacting with the either with the neurotransmitters for the neural system, and target cell should have the specific receptor for the hormone to bind and interact. Next is the combination of regulatory molecule with its receptor protein must cause specific sequences of changes in the target cell. For neurotransmission, there are specific changes. There are some opening of calcium channel, closing of some channels, and there are synaptic vesicle fusion. We'll learn about all these things when we'll discuss about the our nervous system. And for endocrine system, I think we all know there are some specific sequence of changes in the target cell. That means there are some specific changes in the hormone receptor complex which imply some structural and molecular changes to the hormones itself. Okay, there must be a mechanism to turn off the action of the regulator, obviously. So for neural system also, there are some mechanism to release or to remove the neurotransmitters from the receptors. Similarly, for endocrine regulation, there are some mechanisms, there are systems to remove the hormone from the hormone receptor complex. Okay, so that is the thing. So these two parts are it for this video. In next part, I will discuss about the hormone interaction, there are 3 different types of interaction, and about the chemical classification of the hormone. Thank you. If you find this content helpful, please make sure to like, share, comment and subscribe. Follow for more. See you in the next video. Bye.